Hello and welcome back to part 5 of our resimulation of the entire Super Bowl era. We're going to be covering Super Bowls 41 through 50 across the seasons from 2006 to 2015. If you've yet to see the first 4 parts of this video, first of all, what's up with that? And second of all, there will be spoilers ahead. We have provided for your convenience a link to the entire playlist down in the description of this video. Here is a quick rundown of how all this works, given that we're doing a video game simulation. If you've indeed seen part 1 of the series, we go into this in deeper detail. We also have that available in written form down in the description, where that link is still available for you to click. This channel runs on C-Score, and we will be tracking the C-scores of all these teams during this simulation. At the end of the video, we will post those C-scores alongside the C-scores these teams earned in the real NFL to see who may have overperformed and who also may have underperformed. We do have one last thing available for you in the description if you so desire, and that is a full and thorough breakdown about how C-Score works. So enough now with going into the description of the video. Let's get on with the video. The Indianapolis Colts had been knocking on the door to Super Bowl glory for several years, and here now in 2006, they finally achieved that glory, doing so with one of their lesser teams. They caught fire once the playoffs started though, not so coincidentally coinciding with the return of Bob Sanders. They beat the Chicago Bears in a Super Bowl that started off exciting, but was kind of otherwise a meh game, probably having a lot to do with the falling rain that day. Let's see where all these chips landed in 2006. First in the AFC East, the New England Patriots run roughshod, going 14-2 and taking the conference's #1 seed. The Jets pull out a great 10-6 record, but cannot make it to the playoffs. Over in the North, the Baltimore Ravens faced some competition from the Cincinnati Bengals, but they went 13-3 to win the division, while the Bengals grabbed the top wildcard spot at 11-5. The Colts may have won the Super Bowl in real life, but here in the resim, they're only 10-6 and are able to grab that final wildcard spot due to their head-to-head victory over the New York Jets. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars who take the division at 12-4. And now in the West, the Chargers were awesome at 13-3, but are only able to grab the #3 seed because of their head-to-head loss during the season against the Ravens. The Dallas Cowboys follow up last season's playoff appearance with their first division title in 10 years, going 12-4 to edge out the Eagles, who grab a wildcard spot at 11-5. The Chicago Bears storm through the North, going 14-2, 7 games clear in first place, and easily grabbing the NFC's #1 seed. We had ourselves a massive turnaround in the South, with the New Orleans Saints going from 1-15 in 2005 to 12-4 division champions this season. And the Carolina Panthers are able to grab the #6 seed with their 10-6 record. These are the beginnings of some dark days in the NFC West, soon to be known as the NFC Worst. The Rams are able to hit double-digit wins, going 10-6 and being crowned division champs. It's playoff time, and the Colts draw a tough matchup at San Diego, and they lose it, going 1-done while the Chargers rain down the points. Our other game, the Bengals give it a good fight, but are unable to get past the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now in the divisional round, in real life, the Baltimore Ravens could not live up to being the #2 seed, and they're unable to do it here as well, going down to the Chargers, while the Patriots grit out a victory over the Jaguars, setting up the 2007 AFC Championship game here in 2006. And in that game, the Chargers brought the offense, blowing up for 28 second-half points, winning their second straight road game, and from the #3 seed are off to the Super Bowl for the second time in franchise history, the first time since 1979. Every tiebreaker to this point has been decided by head-to-head, and we get it here again, as New Orleans gets the number 2 seed over Dallas based on their victory over them during the season. That didn't affect the Cowboys too much though, as they power by Carolina, while the Eagles are able to ease by the Rams. In the divisional round, it took overtime, but the Cowboys were able to avenge their loss to the Saints, ending their season with a 30-27 victory, while the Bears had themselves a bit of a hard time, but were able to beat out the Eagles. So in real life, there was no NFC Championship game for the Dallas Cowboys from 1995 to the present day, but here they make it, and they're on the road against Chicago. In the AFC, the number 3 seed beat the number 1 seed, but not here in the NFC. Chicago shut it down defensively, and they repeat their real-life performance as NFC champions. They're getting a different opponent in the Super Bowl, but will once again be facing the number 3 seed. We've got ourselves another new name for this place. It's now Dolphin Stadium, still though in sunny Miami, Florida. They will be hosting this game between the AFC champions San Diego Chargers and the NFC champions Chicago Bears. San Diego and its powerful offense has it first at their own 41-yard line. This is LaDainian Tomlinson, shoots right up the middle like getting shot out of a cannon. The Bears are able to track him down at the 20-yard line. Now facing a 3rd and long, Phillip Rivers escapes from the pocket, has a chance to run for the first down, but the Bears stop him just short, and they're showing their aggression early. Most teams might just want to put points on the board, but this is Marty Schottenheimer and the Chargers going for it. They're going to run Tomlinson around right end. He's going to pick up the first down to the 3-yard line. And on the next play, they're going to pitch it left to Tomlinson. He's going to get in for the touchdown. The Chargers again show the aggression, and they are rewarded for it, getting out to a 6-0 lead because the Bears step up and block this extra point. We now move on to the second quarter. The Chargers have a 3rd and goal from the 13. They're going to keep it in the air. Phillip Rivers wants Antonio Gates, and he's going to catch it whenever the ball's near him. Touchdown Chargers. They now go out to a 13-0 lead. The Bears offense can do nothing, and now the Chargers have it again at their own 35-yard line. The direct snap goes to LaDainian Tomlinson up the middle. He's getting chased. He leaps over a tackle. That slows him down just enough for the Bears to catch him, but not before he goes 50 yards. Now they're going to run Tomlinson around left end. He's going to cut back inside and score another touchdown. Just over a minute remains in the first half, and San Diego has a 20-0 lead. But the Bears have a little bit of time. Devin Hester gives them a decent kick return from the San Diego 37. Rex Grossman throws this downfield for Muhsin Muhammad. Goes up and makes the catch. They're going to try a long field goal from Robbie Gould. 57 yards, no problem for Gould. That's going to give the Bears some life. It's 20-3. But it's still the first half with 5 seconds remaining. From the 30-yard line, they run Tomlinson up the middle, splits the defenders. He's got one man to beat, and he beats him. The Bears chase him to no avail. What a disaster for Chicago. The Chargers, LaDainian Tomlinson, 70 yards for the touchdown as the first half expires. It's 27-3. The Bears could be dead and buried here, but they get a drive going in the second half. Rex Grossman goes to the end zone. Bernard Berrien makes the catch. Touchdown Chicago. That is going to make this a 27-10 game. The Chargers have no problems keeping their foot on the gas though. From their own 40-yard line, Phillip Rivers drops back, goes deep to Vincent Jackson, makes the catch, getting away from tacklers, gets taken down at the 15. They can only get a field goal out of that. It's 30-10. Do the Bears have 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns in them? From the Charger 24-yard line, they've gotten one. Desmond Clark makes a nice diving catch in the end zone. That's going to cut this down to a 30-17 lead. Might they go for the onside kick here? They do. The Chargers seem ill-prepared, and the Bears get the recovery. They've got it now at the Charger 42-yard line. Grossman keeps it in the air, goes for Muhammad, makes the catch. Where are the Chargers? Muhammad's able to score. Just like that, we've got ourselves a one-possession game. It's 30-24. Might Chicago once again go for the onside kick? They do. It's laid down. They chase after it and they recover. Might this be the comeback of all comebacks from their own 47? Grossman on second down goes to Berrien, picks up some good yardage for the first down. We're under 3 minutes to go, but time's not really a huge factor here. It's first down out of the shotgun. They bring the blitz, but Grossman finds Clark. He will pick up another first down. From here, though, the Bears go backwards a little bit. It's 3rd and 13, 2:23 on the clock. Grossman goes for Berrien. It's knocked away incomplete. And because it's 4th and 13, they're going to go ahead and bring out Gold for the field goal. That will keep them in the game. Going forward and missing it would be pretty detrimental. The Chargers almost blocked this, but they can't do it, and Gold will put it through. We've got ourselves a 3-point game. Might the Bears once again go for the onside kick? They do, but the Chargers are going to quickly recover. They're going to try to run down clock with LaDainian Tomlinson, but the Bears are on it. They lose 6 yards on first down, and they lose 2 yards on second down. So now on 3rd and 17, Rivers will throw. No, he's going to run it again. No, he's going to throw it. Tomlinson makes the catch and gets stopped just short. And once again on 4th and 1, they're going to go for it. This got them on the board to start the game. Can this win it for them? The Bears change their alignment. Rivers is going to throw. He quickly goes to Tomlinson. He makes the catch for the first down. And he's going to put the cherry on top of this Sunday by scoring his 4th touchdown of the game. Tomlinson was amazing in 2006. He was amazing in this game. The extra point was no good, but that makes no difference. San Diego almost blows a 27-3 halftime lead. They hold on to the 36-27 victory. What a reversal of fortune from real life. The Chargers threatened a charging, but they held on for the biggest win in franchise history, and they did it with a rare aggressive streak from Marty Schottenheimer. We usually try and create a little intrigue as to who is going to be named Super Bowl MVP, but come on, man. Look at these numbers from LaDainian Tomlinson. 224 yards rushing, more than 10 yards per carry, 4 rushing touchdowns, including that ridiculous 70-yarder to end the first half, and he chipped in 3 big receptions for 29 yards. What a display by one of the NFL's all-time greatest players. The Chargers were actually better record-wise in the real 2006, going 14-2 against their 13-3 in this resim. But they famously went one and done at home in the playoffs in what proved to be Schottenheimer's final game in the NFL. Here they make their run to the title, and instead, Schottenheimer is able to retire on top. And we can say something here that cannot be said with any kind of accuracy in the real world. The San Diego Chargers are Super Bowl champions. Pretty much every single season of the Super Bowl era can be defined by the team that won that season's Super Bowl. 2007 was defined by the team that lost that Super Bowl. The New England Patriots completed an undefeated regular season, the second team to ever do so during this era, the first to ever do so at 16-0. They entered the Super Bowl at 18-0. They left the Super Bowl at 18-1. And didn't just lose that game, they lost it to a very so-so team in the New York Giants, who only won 10 games themselves and made it to the playoffs as a wildcard team. They were now 2007 and Super Bowl 42 champions. What a way for the Patriots to go out this year. Let's now get into these 2007 standings, and we can immediately answer the big question. Do the Patriots go 16-0 again? No, they do lose what was known as Super Bowl 41.5 at the Colts, but they finished 15-1 and scored 614 points. My goodness. They were 10 games ahead of anyone else in the East. Yeah, they're the number 1 seed. Over in the North, Pittsburgh comes back to take the division at 12-4. In real life, Cleveland was 10-6 and missed the playoffs. Here they tack on one more win and are able to make it. Down south, Indy may have beaten New England, but they took 3 other losses. 13-3 is still good enough for the number 2 seed, while the Jaguars get back into the playoffs as the wild card at 11-5. And our reigning Super Bowl champion San Diego Chargers are not quite as good this season, but 10-6 will still win them the West and return them to the playoffs. The Dallas Cowboys are going to repeat as East Division champions, where nobody in the division had a losing record. The big note here is that the 2007 Super Bowl champion New York Giants finished last place at 8-8 and will not make the playoffs at all. Washington at 11-5 takes the 5 seed, Philly at 10-6 takes the 6, the 13-3 Cowboys can claim the 1. The Bears hit the skids in the North, while the Packers rise up and take the division at 12-4. Heading to the South, the Saints go back-to-back, winning the division here at 10-6, while the also 10-6 Tampa Bay Buccaneers eat every single tiebreaker. They lose the division to the Saints by virtue of a head-to-head sweep, and they lose out to the Eagles for the 6th seed. They both went 7-5 in conference, while the Eagles were 3-2 against common opponents, while Tampa was 0-5. Now in the West, Seattle goes a strong 12-4 and are able to claim the number 2 seed over Green Bay by virtue of their 10-2 conference record against the Packers 9-3. And in a bit of a funny/tragic note, the 49ers finished 2-14, but don't even finish last place because the Rams were terrible at 1-15. Just one tiebreaker was necessary in the AFC, where the Jaguars get the 5 seed and the Browns get the 6 seed. Jacksonville was 10-2 in the AFC, while Cleveland was 8-4. Whatever that did, it worked out for both of them, as Cleveland went on the road to win in Pittsburgh, and Jacksonville went on the road to knock off our reigning champion Chargers. The Jaguars continue the run. Indianapolis was upset at home in the divisional round, just like they were in real life, while the Patriots held a 42-21 fourth quarter lead before Cleveland ran up some points in garbage time to cut it down to 42-35. In the AFC Championship game, no garbage time was allowed. The Jaguars go down hard, 35-10, while no freaking duh, the New England Patriots in 2007 advanced to Super Bowl 42. Now for the happenings in the NFC. Philadelphia didn't have much going on in the wildcard round, but Washington did as they beat the New Orleans Saints with ease. I'm not sure the Packers winning in Seattle is a massive upset, but 28-7 might be, while the Cowboys hammer the Redskins. Now the Cowboys are in the NFC Championship game again, this time at home against the Packers. And like in real life, this game went to overtime. And like in real life, it's the road team that kicks the game-winning field goal. The Packers were victims that time. Here, they are the road team, and they're able to grab the win. We will now be getting the Super Bowl most would have predicted after the Cowboys lost to the Giants in the divisional round in real life. This is going to be the second Super Bowl to be held in the state of Arizona, but the first in the Phoenix area, with the University of Phoenix Stadium, officially in Glendale, hosting this matchup between the not-so-undefeated but still super powerful AFC champion New England Patriots and the NFC champion Green Bay Packers. The Packers will try to get on the board first. They've just snuck into Patriots territory on 3rd down, Brett Favre tries to run but goes down in the arms of Richard Seymour. They made a mistake here. They've given the ball to this Patriots offense, giving them a chance to take the lead. Off the play action, Tom Brady wants to go deep. There's Randy Moss going up to make the catch and streaking his way into the end zone for the touchdown. The quick strike Patriots do just that. They take a 7-0 lead. The Packers still have some offense though. They're at their own 10-yard line. Out of the shotgun, Brett Favre looks for tight end Donald Lee. He'll make the catch for the first down. That's going to get this drive moving. They're now at the New England 26-yard line. Again out of the shotgun. Again Favre goes to Lee. He gets a first down inside the 2-yard line. That'll end the first quarter. Here to start the second, Favre will find James Jones out of the slot for the touchdown. So the Packers show some resilience and tie this game up at 7 apiece. Now the Patriots have it. 2nd and 10 from their own 18-yard line. Brady's got time in the pocket, but that time runs out. Aaron Campman gets him down for the sack. Now it's 3rd and 20. The Packers are on the attack, and Campman's going to get Brady down for the safety. And with the defense, Green Bay takes a 9-7 lead. They get the ball on the ensuing kickoff. Favre wants to check this down to Greg Jennings, but that's Asante Samuel with the interception. He's going to take this back for the touchdown. Samuel had trouble holding on to an interception in the real Super Bowl 42, but he has no such issues this time around. He'll restore the Patriot lead at 14-9, and they've got the ball back again in Packer territory. On 3rd and 14, Brady wants to go deep again. He's going to find Randy Moss. His second catch of the game. They've both gone for long touchdowns. And here at the 2-minute warning, the Patriots take a 21-9 lead. Green Bay does have time to work with though. It is 3rd and 10. Again out of the shotgun. Favre wants Donald Lee. These guys are connecting. The measurement is short though. On 4th down, they're going to punt this away. Wes Welker is back to receive at the 21-yard line. He gets drilled. The ball comes loose, and Scott Wells is going to pick this up and run it back for the touchdown, just like Green Bay drew it up. With the extra point, we're heading to halftime. New England clinging to a 21-16 lead. They've got a drive going here. It's 3rd and 7. Brady's going to drop back. He waits, and Campman takes him down for his 3rd sack of the game, knocking them out of field goal range. Now it's Green Bay's ball. On 3rd and 2, they actually try a run, and Ryan Grant is stopped short. Now New England on 3rd and short is going to try their own run. Lawrence Maroney is going to pick up the first down, breaking a tackle and getting a lot more, spinning away from another tackle, getting this right inside the red zone. Now from the 28-yard line, they've taken a sack on 1st down. 40 seconds remain in the 3rd quarter. Brady goes to Benjamin Watson. He gets hit by Nick Collins. The ball is loose, and Green Bay's gonna recover. It feels like the Pats are in control of this game, but they can't put it away. With 1 second now remaining in the 3rd quarter, they go back to the air. Favre fires for Donald Driver, makes the catch in Patriots territory. They've got a chance to take the lead here. It's 2nd down from the 45. They run Ryan Grant. He looks like he might have the edge, but Mike Vrabel will knock it loose. The Packer run game has been a shambles in this one. New England takes advantage. Now from the 26, Brady's going to throw the crosser to Dante Stallworth, makes the catch, gets into the end zone for the touchdown. Stallworth will join Randy Moss with more than 100 yards receiving in this game. The Patriots now lead at 28-16. Green Bay's kind of in desperation mode here. Brett Favre gets out the gunslinger, goes to Greg Jennings, and it's Asante Samuel making his 2nd pick of the game. That's going to be enough for New England to kill out this clock. It wasn't as convincing as some of their wins were earlier in the year, but it doesn't matter. They get the victory, 28-16. This game was a bit sloppy. Both teams turned it over multiple times, and both teams scored non-offensive touchdowns, but the Patriots still had way too much for Green Bay. He won his first NFL MVP award in the real 2007 season. Now in the resim, Tom Brady wins his first Super Bowl MVP. His completion percentage wasn't through the roof, but he continuously hit big plays, going for 364 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, including 2 long bombs to Randy Moss. Once again, the Pats didn't exactly score a dominant victory in the Super Bowl, and they didn't enter that game undefeated. There isn't a Patriot fan alive, though, that wouldn't take that in exchange for achieving the ultimate goal of becoming Super Bowl champions. And in the end, New England finished with the same 18-1 record. They just had a little better timing with that loss, and are able to claim Lombardi number 2. They got one for the thumb in 2005. Now here in 2008, the Pittsburgh Steelers became the first NFL franchise to require 2 hands to show off all their Super Bowl rings, taking home their 6th Lombardi trophy. They did so in a thrilling game against the Arizona Cardinals, a team that kinda absolutely did not belong in that game, yet were less than a minute away from winning it all. The Steelers ended the first half with a James Harrison pick 6 that is the single greatest play in the history of the NFL. Fight me. 2008 also had the first ever 0-16 team in NFL history, that being the Detroit Lions. Yet, despite going winless, they were not this season's worst team. That dishonor belongs to the St. Louis Rams. Fight me again. We're now ready to take a look at these NFL standings in 2008. In real life, the Patriots went 11-5 and missed the playoffs. Here, they are able to win the division, avoiding all that bad luck by going 12-4. The New York Jets were also strong at 11-5 and earned themselves a wildcard spot. It's not the top wildcard spot though, that goes to the Baltimore Ravens at 13-3, who just finished behind the Pittsburgh Steelers in the North, who went 14-2 and grabbed the conference's number 1 seed. The Tennessee Titans are going to grab the South title at 12-4. They're also going to grab the number 2 seed from New England. Both teams went 8-4 in conference. Tennessee was 4-1 against their common opponents, while New England was 3-2. And over in the West, this is a one-team show. It's once again the San Diego Chargers. They go 11-5, and for the second straight season are the conference's number 4 seed. The New York Giants were kept out of the playoffs in 2007. Well, here in 2008, they respond with a fury, going 13-3 and landing the number 1 seed. The Philadelphia Eagles are also very good at 12-4. They're the 3rd different 11-plus win team to need a wildcard spot. Up north, it's the Minnesota Vikings at 10-6. That's good enough to win the division. While the Detroit Lions don't go winless. They're 1-15, defeating the Washington Redskins during a Week 8 home game. The New Orleans Saints maintain control over the South, going 12-4, while the Panthers get the wild card spot over the Falcons. Both go 10-6, but Carolina swept the head-to-head. And the real-life NFC champion Arizona Cardinals come back pretty good in the resim. They go 10-6, and they're pretty easily crowned the Western champions. They do have to settle for the number 4 seed like they did in real life though, losing out on the head-to-head tiebreaker with the Minnesota Vikings. For the second consecutive season, the St. Louis Rams land a 1-15 record. It's playoff time now. In the AFC, the Patriots easily handle the Jets, while the Chargers, despite being at home, pull off what has to be considered an upset by defeating the Ravens. It's a tougher time in the divisional round, though, at Pittsburgh, where they go down by 16 points, while Tennessee barely scrapes by a 1-point victory over New England. That's going to give us a defensive struggle in the AFC Championship game. The Titans at the Steelers, and it's pulled out by the Titans by a score of 13-7. They're now making their 2nd Super Bowl as the Titans, and their 4th Super Bowl appearance overall. Their opponents will be found in the NFC, and it will not be the return of the Cardinals. The Eagles defeat them in a shootout, while the Panthers go on the road to defeat the Vikings. The Giants don't have to play Philly in this round, so they avoid the upset that they faced in real life. beating down Carolina instead. On the other hand, the Eagles here give the Saints a second straight home loss, one and done as a 2 seed, in a tight 24-20 victory. So we are going to get Philly versus the Giants after all, but this time in the NFC Championship game. And the song remains the same. The Eagles ease by 35-17, and from the wild card are making it to Super Bowl 43. This is going to be a rematch of our resimmed Super Bowl 15, where the Titans were still the Oilers and didn't score at all in a clobbering at the hands of the Eagles. May things be different this time. The world's going to be getting together here in Tampa, Florida, as Raymond James Stadium is going to host the Super Bowl between the AFC champion Tennessee Titans and the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles look to strike first, setting up shop in Titans territory. Off the play action, Donovan McNabb is going to find his rookie wide receiver, Deshaun Jackson, first down at the 25-yard line. Now on second down, McNabb's going to drop back again. He's going to find Jackson short. He's going to use his speed and burst to get his way into the end zone for the touchdown. The Eagles have penetrated this excellent Titans defense and are on the board here 7-0. Now the Titans take control. They're at their own 21-yard line. Kerry Collins is going to roll out, drop this off to his own rookie, Chris Johnson, gets a nice gain out to the 37-yard line, but before he can take an official carry in this Super Bowl, Johnson is knocked out of the game. This handicaps the Titans offense to a strong degree, and they wind up punting this away. They've got it again now in the second quarter, facing a 3rd and 11. Collins goes to Justin Gage. He makes a nice diving catch, getting it down to the 48-yard line. This kind of awakens the passing game. Bo Scaife makes this catch, breaks some tackles, and fights his way for a first down. Collins goes to Gage once again, makes the catch inside the 10. Then he goes to an old familiar face in Justin McCarrons, making his return to the Titans this season. He had a 4-touchdown performance in Super Bowl 38, and he's got one here. We're tied up at 7 apiece. There's a little bit of time left in the first half. Donovan McNabb goes down for the sack. So we're going to go to the half tied up at 7 apiece. Here the defenses really take over. Ahmad Hall gets nothing on that carry. Here Philly on 3rd and 9, the pass to LJ Smith, incomplete. Now the Titans have it. They try Ahmad Hall again, and he just doesn't have any kind of juice like Chris Johnson has. No first down. On 3rd and 20, this pass to Correll Buckhalter gets nothing for the Eagles. Now the Titans throw to Justin Gage. That gets broken up. We're now into fourth quarter. Still 7-7. This pass goes incomplete. Somebody needs to get something going here. The Eagles are punting. The Titans come after it. They cannot get the block. It is a short punt to Chris Carr. He's getting a nice return. Tennessee's now in prime scoring position. Here on 3rd and 2, they're going to run the draw to Hall, and he's got some space. It's by far his biggest gain of the day. 10 yards inside the 20-yard line for the first down. It's now 3rd and 10. They're going to keep it on the ground. Lendell White cannot pick up the first down. They're going to bring out Rob Baronis here for the 30-yard field goal. He's going to calmly put this through. We've got our first score in the second half. Tennessee leads 10-7. The Eagles are going to go on what could be a game-tying or game-winning drive here. But Albert Haynesworth has other ideas. He gets the sack on 3rd down, giving Tennessee the ball back. They're actually going to put this ball in the air. Kerry Collins throws it up, and it's Asante Samuel. A season after making 2 Super Bowl interceptions with the Patriots, gets one here for the Eagles, and they have new life. It is 3rd and 16. McNabb throws the Buckhalter. It's incomplete. So here it comes now. Everything rides on 4th and 16. Off the play action. Keith Bullock comes off the edge and gets the sack. That's going to put this away. It wasn't a thrilling contest by any means, but the Titans are going to win it 10-7. That is gonna set a new resim record for the lowest scoring Super Bowl of all time, but it doesn't surpass the real-life record of 16 total points in Super Bowl 53 between the Patriots and the Rams. It is a record for fewest points scored by the winning team, whether in the resim or in real life. So you know it's gonna be a defensive player taking home MVP honors. He made the game-winning sack, but that was just part of the great game put together by Titans linebacker Keith Bullock. He was a force against the run, making 11 tackles, and he was a force against the pass, batting away 3 would-be completions. He was, quite simply, the best player on the field. After a 13-7 AFC Championship game win, the Titans gave us a 10-7 Super Bowl win. They care not for ratings, only for championships, and they get their second one, the first in a shootout, the second in a slugfest, making up for their stellar real-life 2008 campaign that went one and done in a similar-looking, low-scoring affair. Something kinda crazy happened at the end of the 2009 season. Both the AFC and the NFC's number 1 seed met in the Super Bowl. That doesn't sound too crazy. The crazy part is that this hadn't happened since 1993 when the Dallas Cowboys and Buffalo Bills had their Super Bowl rematch. 16 years passed until both 1 seeds could advance to the big game. The Saints made their first ever appearance and got their first ever Super Bowl win in a nominal upset over the Indianapolis Colts. C-Score tells us that the Saints were the better team, and if that's not your particular cup of tea, then I think history and hindsight tells us that at least the Saints were just as good as the Colts this season. We're ready to unveil the 2009 NFL standings, and we're going to start off with a bit of a stunner as the New York Jets win the AFC East at 11-5, while the New England Patriots got to settle for a wild card at 10-6. The Baltimore Ravens dominate the North at 13-3, and in a weaker AFC this season, the Cincinnati Bengals are able to grab a wild card at 8-8. They got the tiebreaker over the Steelers, going 3-3 within the division, while Pittsburgh only went 2-4. And now as we shift over to the South, we see the Texans were also 8-8, and the Bengals get them on the head-to-head. Meanwhile, Indianapolis crushes it, going 14-2 to win the South and grab the AFC's number 1 seed. And over in the West, it's the San Diego Chargers, division champions for the 6th straight season. They go 11-5, and this year they're actually able to grab the number 3 seed, going 10-2 in the AFC, while the New York Jets only went 9-3. The AFC was weaker this season, but the NFC was not. The Dallas Cowboys win the East at 13-3, while the 11-5 Philadelphia Eagles, watching a team go 8-8 making the playoffs, are gonna miss it themselves. Over in the North, it's Minnesota who takes it, going 13-3 and grabbing a first-round bye, doing so by having a better conference record than the Cowboys, 10-2 versus 9-3. The Green Bay Packers will grab the top wildcard spot at 12-4. As we go to the South, we see the reason why Philadelphia missed the playoffs. The Atlanta Falcons also went 11-5 and beat them head-to-head, while the New Orleans Saints win the South for the 4th straight season, going 14-2 and this time grabbing the number 1 overall seed. The Arizona Cardinals win the West at 12-4, but the story here is the St. Louis Rams finally bottoming out. After 2 consecutive seasons at 1-15, this year they are 0-16 with a negative 294 point differential. Simply pitiful. We're now in the playoffs, and for the 2nd straight season, it's Patriots-Jets in the wild card round, and once again, New England handles them pretty easily. In the other game, it's the Chargers steamrolling the 500 Cincinnati Bengals. In the divisional round, the Baltimore Ravens avenge last season's playoff loss to the San Diego Chargers, while the Indianapolis Colts take out an overmatched New England Patriots team. So we've got ourselves Baltimore versus the former Baltimore here in the AFC Championship game. And in this one, it goes to the former Baltimore. The Indianapolis Colts win it 27-14, and after a 4-year wait and missing out on the playoffs last season, are back in the Super Bowl. On the NFC side of things, the Dallas Cowboys have been to back-to-back conference championship games, but that's not happening this year as they lose at home to Atlanta. The Packers pour on 49 points in a win over Arizona that in real life was the highest scoring playoff game ever. That spigot was turned off for the Packers in Minnesota the following week, losing to the Vikings 21-10, while the Saints are finally able to get out of the divisional round. That's going to give us a rematch of this season's pretty famous / infamous NFC title game that was heavily related to the Bounty Gate scandal. And in maybe a bit of poetic justice, it's the Minnesota Vikings who go to New Orleans and beat them 37-20. So the Vikings are off to the Super Bowl, and we just missed a rematch of the real-life Super Bowl. We're definitely guaranteed a new champion in what should be a dynamic matchup. And hey, looky here, once again, this stadium's name has changed. Now they are Sun Life Stadium, but we're still in Miami, Florida. We're now getting set for this epic matchup, Super Bowl 44, the AFC champion Indianapolis Colts and the NFC champion Minnesota Vikings. The Colts make quick work of the Vikings defense here on the first drive. They're at the 16-yard line. Peyton Manning waits and finds Reggie Wayne in the back of the end zone for the touchdown. It didn't take long. The Colts jump out to a 7-0 lead. The Vikings have the ball now deep in their own territory. This is Brett Favre at quarterback. On 3rd and 12, he hangs in the pocket. He hangs for too long, gets sacked by Daniel Muir. This is going to be a problem going forward. Favre, once again, is going to stay in the backfield for too long, and this time Antonio Johnson gets him down for the sack. The Colts now have it. We're in the second quarter. At their own 44-yard line, Manning goes deep to Reggie Wayne, makes a nice diving catch for the first down. A few plays later, they're now set up at the 25-yard line. Manning waits patiently, looks to the other side of the field for Pierre Garçon, fits it between two defenders for the first down. They're unable to get it into the end zone though, so Matt Stover from 20 yards away is going to make this a 10-0 game. The Vikings are going to look to get on the scoreboard before the first half is over. It's 2nd and 20. They run a draw to Adrian Peterson. He's been bottled up all game. Not on this play. He's able to burst through the middle and get down at the 15-yard line. They've gone backwards again, though. It's 3rd and 20. They give the Peterson off right tackle. He's just too fast. Nobody lays a finger on him. 80 gets into the end zone for the touchdown. That does make this a 10-7 game. It's Minnesota's ball to start the second half. It's 3rd and long again, and they're at their own 7-yard line. Brett Favre is going to look downfield. Percy Harvin gets away, makes the catch. This could be an extremely long touchdown, but the Colts are able to catch up to him. It's instead a 65-yard gain. On the next play now, from the 27, Favre's going to keep this in the air. He wants his big-bodied receiver, Sidney Rice, makes the catch, crosses the goal line. Touchdown Vikings. They've now taken the lead at 14-10. The Colts aren't going to stand for that though. From their own 35-yard line, Manning's going to keep throwing this ball. He goes downfield for Dallas. Clark makes the catch, breaks a tackle, and the Vikings cannot get him down. Clark has done nothing in this game, and all of a sudden has his own 65-yard catch. This one for a touchdown. The Colts are back in the lead at 17-14. They've gotten the ball back again. We're still in the third quarter. Manning goes to Reggie Wayne, makes the diving catch in the Vikings territory. And that's just prelude for what's going to happen next. Manning's going to find Wayne again, streaking into the end zone for his second touchdown. Manning's third of the game. Indianapolis restores their two-possession lead at 24-14. With time ticking away in the third quarter, Minnesota's in Indy territory. Favre is going to throw this downfield for Rice. He will make the diving catch and get taken down at the 6-yard line. Now facing massive pressure, Favre will get the pass off to Percy Harvin. Touchdown, Minnesota. They get back into this at 24-21, but none of it's going to matter if they cannot get a stop. Indianapolis is once again on the march from their own 44. Manning goes to Wayne, makes the catch, nobody's there. Throw your hats on the field, it's a hat trick for Reggie Wayne. This one from 56 yards away. Manning is once again on point, and the Colts lead 31-21. There's still enough time for the Vikings to make some noise from their own 49. The pass goes to Rice. This is like Ivan Drago and Rocky Balboa trading haymakers. Now inside the 20, a field goal will do, but a touchdown will be better. They pitch it out to Adrian Peterson. He's all about making that happen. His second trip to the end zone where nobody laid so much a finger on him. It's now 31-28. The Colts will get this ball on the kickoff. Minnesota does not onside it. They don't seem to care to run this ball. They want to throw it. And why not when Peyton Manning can put the ball downfield as if handing it off? They've got it at the 30-yard line now. It's 3rd and 4, a minute remaining. They will run this. It's a reverse to Reggie Wayne. The Vikings are able to track him down. So Matt Stover will come out for the 42-yard field goal. It's up and in. That's going to take away the field goal option for the Vikings. Percy Harvin receives this kickoff. He gets a really good return here. Could he take this all the way in? The Colts are able to tackle him, but Minnesota's going to have a couple of shots at the end zone here. From the 35, Favre has time. Fires to the end zone to Percy Harvin. It's knocked away. 6 seconds remain. This is the last chance. The Colts bring the pressure. Favre has to throw it before he wants to. Peterson makes the catch, but is well short of the end zone. And the Colts hold on to dear life and win this game 34-28. Woo-wee! The Colts played with fire there, but they closed the deal, in turn giving us a much more offensive-minded Super Bowl than we had last season. But both games gave us quite a bit of excitement. He has been named Super Bowl MVP in real life, but not quite with the kind of game he had here. Colts quarterback Peyton Manning appeared to own every single blade of grass on that field, completing nearly 90% of his passes for 390 yards and 4 touchdowns. The sheer volume of these numbers have been surpassed in prior Super Bowls, but there is a clear argument that no QB has played better from the first whistle to the last. 25 years after leaving Baltimore, the Indianapolis Colts have finally landed their second Super Bowl championship, ending an agonizing 41-year wait. This Resim season looked nearly identical to the one they had in real life. 14-2, number 1 seed, advanced to the Super Bowl. The major difference, this time they flexed their might and won it all.
We had a 6th seed win the Super Bowl in 2005. We have another 6th seed doing the job here in 2010. That would be the Green Bay Packers, and the team they beat, the Pittsburgh Steelers, was indeed that first team to win it all as a 6th seed. They played this game at the stadium of the Dallas Cowboys, with the Steelers and Packers probably being the Cowboys' biggest rivals outside the NFC East. Neither the Packers nor the Steelers have been back to the Super Bowl since. The Cowboys hadn't been there for 15 years at this point, and now they've gone another 15 years of wanting.
The 2010 NFL standings are now ready for our perusal, and the New England Patriots are back in juggernaut mode, taking the AFC East at 14-2 and grabbing the AFC's number 1 seed. Now, last season's AFC got 8-8 teams into the wild card, but not so this season. The Jets are shut out at 10-6. The Steelers and the Ravens are once again in control of the North. It's Pittsburgh who takes it at 13-3, while Baltimore is in the wild card spot at 12-4.
Our reigning Super Bowl champion Indianapolis Colts are going to give it one last go. They win the South here at 12-4, while the Titans, like the Jets, will miss out at 10-6. And over in the West, the Chargers do not win the division, but they do grab the number 6 seed at 11-5. It's the Oakland Raiders getting their first division title and playoff appearance since 2002. They do it at 12-4, losing out on the number 3 seed because of head-to-head to the Colts. On the NFC side of things, the New York Giants clean up a fairly mediocre East, winning the title there at 11-5. The Green Bay Packers are no number 6 seed this time. They're 13-3. They win the North and they grab the number 2 seed. The Chicago Bears, who won the division in real life, will now be taking the wild card at 10-6. Green Bay's the number 2 seed because the top seed resides in the South. The Atlanta Falcons killed it this year at 14-2. No division title for the Saints this year, but they do grab the wild card, having to settle for the number 6 seed, losing out on a tiebreaker to the Chicago Bears. They went 7-5 in conference, while Chicago went 9-3. Now, the real-life 2010 NFC West gave the world its first ever division champion with a losing record, and the first ever playoff team with a losing record during a full season. Now, in our resim, we have had losing teams in the playoffs, but this is a new low. The division is won by the San Francisco 49ers at 6-10. With double-digit losses, they're going to the playoffs. They don't even need a tiebreaker. This is embarrassing. Okay, it's time to settle things over in the AFC. The Indianapolis Colts outscore the San Diego Chargers to move on, while the Baltimore Ravens annihilate the Oakland Raiders, taking a 35-0 halftime lead, winning at 35-6 in the end. In the divisional round, the ride now comes to an end for the Indianapolis Colts. They lose at Pittsburgh and will now be entering a whole new era. The Ravens gave New England a run for their money, but the Patriots win the game and will host the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Patriots are once again less than convincing, but they get it done. Without the New York Jets in this playoff field to pull off the massive upset, the New England Patriots are off to Super Bowl 45. In the NFC now, the 49ers are indeed in the playoffs and are going to host a playoff game. And they score 0 points in a loss to the Chicago Bears. The Giants defeat the Saints in an exciting game, and they move on to face the Packers in what's a high-scoring game, which is won by the Packers, while the Falcons handily take care of the Bears. Atlanta will now host Green Bay, and as they did in real life, the Packers win this NFC Championship game on the road and will make it to Super Bowl 45. So the Packers match their real-life achievement, while the Patriots continue a pattern of making the Super Bowl every 3 years. They did it in 2004, 2007, and now here in 2010. And of course, this is a rematch from just 3 seasons earlier where the Patriots defeated Green Bay in Super Bowl 42. As we mentioned in our intro, Jerry World, officially known as Cowboy Stadium, is going to be giving us our first ever Super Bowl in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In fact, the first Super Bowl in North Texas. It's going to be quite a matchup here. The AFC champion New England Patriots will be taking on the NFC champion Green Bay Packers. This game has started off defensively, but Green Bay is going to look to change that. Aaron Rodgers takes off in the pocket, fires downfield to Greg Jennings, makes the diving catch, gets up and picks up some more yardage. For the first time, the Packers are in Patriot territory. They've moved a little closer now from the 23. Rodgers is once again looking for Jennings, and he will once again make the diving catch, but this time he lands in the end zone. Touchdown Green Bay, they lead 7-0. The Patriots offense has been stuck in neutral. They're on 3rd and 10 from their own 26. Tom Brady goes to Deion Branch, makes a great catch, getting away from his defender more than once and taking it down to the 30-yard line. Their first time in Packer territory. They've moved a little closer. It's 3rd and 5 from the 25. Brady hangs in the pocket all day, goes to Wes Welker. He makes the catch for the touchdown. So the Patriots rise up here, ending the first quarter, giving us a tied game of 7-7. It's now Green Bay's turn, and they don't waste any time getting down to that same 25-yard line the Patriots were just on. Rodgers fires this to Donald Driver, makes the catch in perfect stride for the touchdown. This game wasn't tied for long. They've now gone ahead 14-7. Will New England now start turning this game into a shootout? They're quickly in Packer territory. Brady drops back. He's got time. Goes to Wes Welker. Makes the catch. And it looks like a shootout's what we've got. Quickly scoring the touchdown here are the Patriots. Number 2 for Welker. Number 2 for Brady. We're tied up at 14. Here come the Packers now, quickly into Patriot territory. From the 44, Rodgers goes for Donald Driver, makes the catch, gets taken down inside the 30-yard line. They've now got a 2nd and 8 from the 26. Off the play action, the pass goes to James Jones. It's a race to the end zone, and Jones wins it. Touchdown, Green Bay. Rodgers now has 3 touchdown passes to 3 different receivers. It's 21-14. There's still time remaining in the first half. New England is facing a 3rd and 19. Brady's going to throw this short to Rob Gronkowski. He's able to pick up the yards necessary for the first down and a little bit more. He's just short of midfield, but they've now crossed over to the 36-yard line. Not much time remaining. Brady is going to throw this short again to Brandon Tate. He'll make the catch. We've got zeros on the clock, and Tate goes down. So New England loses that opportunity, but now in the second half, they're picking up about where they left off. From the 33, Brady again goes to Welker, makes the diving catch inside the 10-yard line. It's now 3rd and goal from the 3. The Packers are prepared for a run. They do run into Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, and the Packers were ready for it. They took it down. Shane Graham's going to come out for the field goal. They don't get the touchdown, but they do cut the lead down to 21-17. Now here comes Green Bay. They're at their own 42-yard line. They're going to try the run game here with Brandon Jackson. He gets a nice gain, cutting around defenders. He's in Patriot territory, but that's Darius Butler forcing the ball loose. This was the turnover that New England needed. They're going to have a chance to take the lead now. They've got a 3rd and 10 just inside midfield. Brady wants to go deep, goes for Deion Branch, but it's Nick Collins making the interception and getting the ball back for Green Bay. And they're going to get the ball back into the hands of Brandon Jackson. The direct snap to Jackson leads to a first down. Here they're going to pitch it to him. Jackson's going to find the edge, cut back inside, makes another great run here. He's going to hold on with both hands this time. The third quarter expires. But now Green Bay faces a 3rd and 12. This is a must-pass situation. That doesn't bother Rodgers. He goes to Jennings, makes the catch, escapes his defenders, and gets in for the touchdown. That's 4 now for Rodgers. The second to Jennings. That 33-yarder makes this 28-17. The Patriots are kind of in desperation mode. They're certainly in comeback mode. On 3rd and 4, Brady wants to throw, goes to Brandon Tate. He makes the diving catch for the first down. It's once again 3rd down, 3rd and 5. They're at the 33. They bring the blitz, and Brady goes down. It's B.J. Raji with the sack. On 4th down, this is too long for the field goal. They're going to go for it, and I think they forgot what down it is. Green Ellis gets the handoff and doesn't get much. So it's up to the Patriots defense to try to get this ball back. They run the draw to Brandon Jackson. He's going to pick up the first down and quite a bit more. That's going to salt this game away. Some curious play calling from the Patriots kind of throughout this one. It's the Packers who win it 28-17. The rematch gives us a different result this time around. It's the Green Bay Packers who get the win, replicating what they did during the real 2010 NFL season. And speaking of replication, we will also have the same Super Bowl MVP in Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers. He had 263 passing yards with no one receiver going over 100 yards individually. He accounted for every Packers touchdown through the air and even chipped in 13 yards rushing. The 2010 Packers were quite unlucky to end up at 10-6, but they showed their true value once the playoffs started. Here in the resim, they gave themselves a much easier path, not having to go on the road all the way throughout, and still showed that value, becoming the first team since 2004 to win the resim Super Bowl after winning the real one. For the Packers, they now land Lombardi Trophy number 2.
We've got another team that went 15-1 and failed to make it to the Super Bowl here in 2011. But this was the first time a team went one and done in the playoffs as a 15-1 squad, and it was the reigning Super Bowl champion Green Bay Packers. They lost to the New York Giants, who once again got themselves into the Super Bowl after a very basic, mediocre style season, where they only won 9 games and were outscored on the season. Then, for the second time in 4 years, they beat the New England Patriots in that game after the Patriots choked the game away. And have you ever noticed the narratives behind this game very rarely mention the fact that the Patriots did actually choke these games? Credit to the Giants, they seem to have a way to beat those guys, but New England, you really should have brought those home.
Let's now take a look at these NFL standings in 2011, and what a shock, the New England Patriots win the East at 13-3. They got a little bit more competition than usual though. The Miami Dolphins finished 9-7 and grab a wild card spot, making their first playoff appearance since 2002. Over in the North, it's once again between Pittsburgh and Baltimore, and once again, Pittsburgh wins it at 13-3. The Ravens take the wildcard spot, the top wildcard spot at 11-5. And finally, the Houston Texans break through, making it to the playoffs after a 9-7 season last year and 8-8 before that. They go 12-4 this year and win the South. And over in the West, the Chargers didn't win the division last season, but they're back in the top spot this year, going 11-5 and making their 8th straight playoff appearance. Over now in the NFC, in the East, the Philadelphia Eagles provide yet another winning record. Not having made the playoffs the last 2 seasons, the 11-5 they put up this year wins them the East, while Dallas is a no-go at 10-6. The defending world champion Green Bay Packers are dominant this season. They went 15-1 in real life, 14-2 will get it done here and giving them the number 1 seed. In the wildcard spot are the Detroit Lions. They go 12-4 and make their first playoff appearance since playing for the NFC Championship all the way back in 1997. Down south, the New Orleans Saints will not be denied again. They get it done at 13-3, while the Atlanta Falcons join the Cowboys as a 10-6 team on the sideline. The 10-6 wildcard spot is claimed by the Seattle Seahawks in what is a renaissance season for the NFC West. The Niners win the division again, but this year they're much better at 12-4. How did Seattle get that playoff spot? It's the simplest of all tiebreakers. They beat both the Cowboys and the Falcons during the regular season. The AFC playoff bracket did require a tiebreaker for the number 1 seed between the Steelers and the Patriots, and we get another head-to-head, and it was Pittsburgh who got that victory during the season. They're the 1, New England's the 2. In the wild card round, San Diego-Baltimore is a pretty common playoff game, while Houston-Miami is not. Neither game was close though. Both the Texans and the Ravens get the win. Now in the divisional round, the Steelers and Patriots fought it out for the number 1 seed, but both of them still got byes. That said, neither could win their game. The Ravens win it at Pittsburgh, that's their division rival, but Houston pulls off the shocking overtime victory in New England. And all of a sudden, they get to host the AFC Championship game against the Ravens, and they win it 24-14. The Houston Texans stun the world, making it to the Super Bowl in their first ever playoff appearance in their 10th season of existence. Over now in the NFC, both wildcard games were one-score thrillers, with Seattle getting a 1-point victory over the 49ers, while the Eagles beat the Lions. Both home teams lost in the AFC divisional round. In the NFC, both home teams hold down the fort. That gives us a Saints-Packers NFC Championship game that promises offensive fireworks. And it delivered, but the fourth quarter belonged to the Saints. They deny the Packers a return trip to the Super Bowl, and after 6 consecutive playoff appearances, New Orleans finally gets themselves into the Super Bowl with a matchup here against the Texans they should like. Now, like with Baltimore in earlier Super Bowls, Houston is not in this game, so we have to place their rosters in a different set of uniforms. With the 3-4 defense they employed in 2011, we went ahead and put them with the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is the first ever, and to date, only Super Bowl ever to be held in Indianapolis. It's going to be in cold weather, but they're going to play it indoors at Lucas Oil Stadium. And this is a very unique Super Bowl in that both franchises are making their first ever appearance. The AFC champions are the Houston Texans, and the NFC champions are the New Orleans Saints. Houston's going to take the first stab at this. They've got it at their own 41-yard line. Matt Schaub looks downfield, running back Ben Tate's out there, makes the diving reception, taking it down to just outside the 20-yard line. They backpedal a little here though, it's 3rd and 15, out of the shotgun. Schaub is going to take off running, he's got a little bit of a seam, he's got a chance to get the first down, but the Saints wrap him up. Neil Rackers is going to come in. The 32-yard field goal is true. Houston gets out to a 3-0 lead. New Orleans now has it. They're facing 3rd and 9. Both teams make changes at the line. The Saints line up in the shotgun. Drew Brees looks downfield once Marcus Colston makes the catch. He's not the fastest receiver that ever lived, but he's able to pick up a good 20 to 23 yards after the catch. First down and then some. The next couple of plays, Colston's going to get the touchdown in the back of the end zone. He was the one-man show on that drive, basically, giving the Saints a 7-3 lead. Houston's looking to get back on the march. They've got it at their own 20-yard line. Schaub hangs out, goes to Tate. He's turning into quite the receiver. Picks up some good blocks downfield. He's taken down at the 45-yard line. From just about the same spot, they're now facing a 2nd and 9. They're going to pitch this out to their other running back, their main one, in Arian Foster. He makes a guy miss, he breaks a tackle, and he gets this down to the 34-yard line. They're going to go to Foster again, this time around the right side. He gets around the defenders and gets this just inside the 20. They actually go backwards from here. Neil Rackers is required to kick another field goal. This one's a little shakier, but it goes in, and the Saints now lead 7-6. In the second quarter, the Saints have it. Drew Brees, once downfield, once Marcus Colston. He finds him. Colston doesn't care that he's covered. He's going to outmuscle you and make the catch. He's down at the 30-yard line. It's now 3rd and 17. They're going to keep this on the ground to Pierre Thomas. Maybe he can get the first down. He cannot, but he makes this an easier field goal attempt from 44 yards away. John Casey puts it through. New Orleans extends the lead to 10-6, but Houston's going to want that back, and they've moved the ball into Saints territory. Schaub goes over the middle to Owen Daniels. He makes the catch, but Roman Harper's going to strip it loose, and the Saints are going to recover, ending the Texans' threat. They've moved it now to the Texan 29 off the play action. That's Brooks Reed with the strip sack, getting the ball back for Houston, and they've got it right about in the same spot where they had it before. It's now 3rd and 11. The Saints bring the rush, and Will Smith's going to get the sack. So all that sound and fury signifies nothing. We're in the second half. It's still 10-6 New Orleans, but Houston's got it deep in Saints territory. The reverse goes to the speedy Jacoby Jones, and he's able to outrun everybody for the touchdown. The Houston Texans hold a lead in the second half of a Super Bowl. It's 13-10. The Saints are going to look to get the offense back into gear. Out of the shotgun, Breeze has one guy he wants to go to. It's Marcus Colston. He makes the catch. Once again, not the fastest receiver in the league. Houston's able to catch up to him, but not before he gets down to the 12-yard line. That 56-yard gain sets up this next play. They're going to blitz, but the pass goes to Colston. He makes the tough man catch, gets hit, holds on in the end zone for the touchdown. Once again, giving the Saints the lead back at 17-13. Houston gets it to the 43. This is about where they stagnate. Schaub goes for Kevin Walter. It's incomplete. They punt it away. The Saints have it, but it's 3rd and 23. If they can pick this up, it goes a long way toward clinching this game. They're going to check it down to Darren Sproles. He's well short. That means they're going to punt it. Houston now on the march, but they're going backwards. It's 3rd and 14. Schaub throws quickly to Daniels, but it's incomplete. So here they go. It's 4th and 14. If they don't get this, it's probably lights out. Schaub is going to try to take off running again, and this doesn't work. They lose possession of the ball. The Saints are going to try to run it. They get 2 yards on first down. It's play action on second. Breeze is going to go to Colston, and they're able to step on their throats here with a minute remaining. Colston's 3rd touchdown of the game. Shirley's going to put this one away, and it absolutely does. The Saints win it 24-13. The Texans shocked the landscape by making it to the Super Bowl, and as we saw, they held a second half lead. The Saints just had too much in that second half, and that too much resided pretty much in the form of one man. Super Bowl 46 MVP Marcus Colston. He made a lot of tough catches, but was able to get downfield as well. He ends it with 13 receptions, 244 yards, and all 3 of the Saints' touchdowns. It may have come 2 years later than it did in the real timeline, but the New Orleans Saints end what has mostly been a miserable experience since their 1967 debut as a franchise, notching their first ever Super Bowl championship. And in this resim, it tastes all the sweeter, serving as the culmination of steady improvement mixed with disappointing heartbreak across 6 consecutive playoff appearances.
We seem to be in an era here of fluky Super Bowl champions, for in 2012, the so-so Baltimore Ravens, guess what, caught fire in the playoffs and went on to win the Super Bowl. What we did see in 2012 was Peyton Manning proving that he is the rare exception at quarterback who actually is the system, rather than just being a quarterback who thrives within a system. That said, his Denver Broncos were upset along the path of the Baltimore Ravens this year that ended in the Super Bowl, a game that has 2 different nicknames. The Harbowl, given the coaching matchup between brothers Jim and John Harbaugh, and the Blackout Bowl because of the inexplicable blackout that took place in the Superdome. Nothing shady about a blackout taking place in a 22-point game that was losing interest that instead turned out to be close at the end. Nothing shady at all.
Let's now take a look and see where everybody finished in 2012. And hey, the AFC East is back to being complete crap. The New England Patriots exist, and therefore they win it at 11-5. Over in the North, Baltimore can only scrounge out a wildcard spot at 10-6, while the Cincinnati Bengals are division champions for the first time since they were in the Central in 1989. The Houston Texans repeat as AFC South Division champions, giving us our third straight division champ at 11-5. We're going to sort out that tiebreaker in just a moment. While the Denver Broncos not only dominate the AFC West, they dominate the entire AFC, going 14-2 and easily claiming the #1 seed. San Diego still makes it into the playoffs at 10-6. So Denver will get that 1 seed while everything else requires a tiebreaker. The Bengals claim the #2 seed with their 11-1 conference record outpacing both New England and Houston, while the Patriots get the 3 seed over the Texans by virtue of their head-to-head victory. Head-to-head also solves the #5 seed. The Ravens beat the Chargers, so Baltimore's the 5 and San Diego's the 6. Now in the NFC, the New York Giants win the East at 12-4. This is the second time in our resim that they've missed the playoffs during a season where they won the Super Bowl and came back the following year with a division championship. In the real 2012 season, the Chicago Bears had a second half collapse, but that did not happen here. They end things at 14-2, win the North, and grab the #1 seed. The Atlanta Falcons reclaim the South, while the New Orleans Saints grab the wild card at 10-6 over the Minnesota Vikings. We've got a deep tiebreaker here. Let's break it down. We have the New Orleans Saints and the Minnesota Vikings tying at conference record, common opponents record, strength of victory, and strength of schedule. We've got to go to conference ranking in scoring and points allowed. The Saints are #2 in offense and #8 on defense for a total of 10. Minnesota does have the #1 ranked defensive scoring in the NFC, but on offense they were 12th. That number of 13 is worse than the Saints. Minnesota stays home, the Saints get the wild card. Okay, now we head to the West where the Seahawks and 49ers swap places. The Niners get the 5 seed while Seattle gets the 2. They get the tiebreaker over Atlanta. This one went deep too, but not quite as bad. They were both 9-3 in the conference and 4-1 against common opponents. Seattle gets strength of victory, 92-116 over Atlanta's 90-118. Now that tiebreakers have sorted out these brackets, let's go through them. The Ravens will not have a run here. They lose in overtime against our resim reigning AFC champion Houston Texans, the second straight season they've won an overtime playoff game. In the other matchup, the Patriots handle the Chargers. Cincinnati's at home against New England where they're going to be underdogs. And yeah, the Patriots win this one 21-13, while Denver wins in the other matchup against Houston 28-14. The AFC Championship game is going to be in Denver, and it's an offensive display between the Patriots and Broncos, which means the Broncos have got this one. They win it 42-31, and in their first season with Peyton Manning, when his career was thought to probably be over, they are in the Super Bowl. One Super Bowl competitor this year went one and done, and so too has the other. San Francisco loses to the Giants, while the Atlanta Falcons complete the 3-0 season sweep of the New Orleans Saints. The defending Super Bowl champions are also out. Seattle's tiebreaker over Atlanta came in handy as they beat them at home, while the Bears outlast the Giants. That means Seattle is going to head over to Chicago for the NFC Championship game, and they took a 10-0 lead before the Bears made a comeback, winning the game 24-13 and getting themselves back into the Super Bowl. And in this game, we're going to have two 14-2 teams and 2 #1 seeds. As we mentioned in the intro, the Superdome in New Orleans is going to be hosting this game, and the lights are going to stay on for the entirety. We're going to have the AFC champion Denver Broncos going head-to-head with the NFC champion Chicago Bears. The Bears force a punt to start things off, and Devin Hester's back to receive, getting himself a nice return here, breaking a tackle, 31 yards in all by the time he's done. Can the Bears take advantage here? Former Bronco quarterback Jay Cutler off the play action goes to Alshon Jeffrey, makes the catch, getting the ball down to the 30, but Chris Harris knocks the ball loose, and it's recovered by Denver. That was promising for Chicago, but it goes by the wayside. Now here comes Peyton Manning and the crew. He fires this to Brandon Stokely, makes the catch, gets taken down at the 35-yard line, and from here he's going to find Eric Decker in the end zone for the touchdown. Chicago had opportunities to get out on the front foot. They find themselves down 7-0. They've got it a 3rd and 19 at their own 20-yard line. Cutler is going to fire this to Brandon Marshall. It's intercepted by the Broncos. This is David Bruton making the pick, a backup safety. That gets the ball back to the Broncos. They're at the 16-yard line. Peyton Manning goes to Demaryius Thomas for the touchdown. A diving effort in the end zone is going to put him up 13-0. The extra point here doesn't go through. Chicago now needs to try to get on the board. This draw play goes to Matt Forte. He's got himself a first down, but it's Chris Harris forcing yet another fumble, and he's going to recover it himself this time. 3 takeaways for the Broncos. Harris forcing 2 of those fumbles. Manning will look to take advantage, goes deep to Demaryius Thomas. He's out in space. Chicago's getting after him, but Thomas will get away and get all the way in for the touchdown from 68 yards away. The Broncos now lead 20-0. The Bears, facing a similar situation as they did in their Super Bowl against San Diego, give this ball to Matt Forte. He makes up for that fumble, getting himself a nice gain. They're going to go to Forte again here on the pitch. He has a chance to break this into the end zone himself, but Denver will wrap him up. The touchdown instead will go to Brandon Marshall himself, also a former Bronco. That was huge. That's going to cut the lead down to 20-7, and it's Chicago's ball to start the second half. They're right around midfield. They're going to go back to Forte, and he's starting to feel it now, getting around defenders. They finally track him down at the 23. They've got a chance to score 14 points here without Denver having any meaningful possession of the ball. Off the play action, Cutler to Marshall, works again. Touchdown Chicago. We've got ourselves a ball game here. It's 20-14. The teams exchanged punts. We're now late in the third quarter. Denver faces 3rd and 9. Manning has time in the pocket, fires deep to Eric Decker, fits it between 2 defenders. Decker makes the catch and goes down at the 10-yard line. We now switch sides in the fourth quarter. 2nd down from the 9. Manning goes to his tight end, Jacob Tamme. Touchdown. That will make this a 27-14 game. Chicago is going to look to respond here. They've got it right around midfield. There's still plenty of time. Off the play action, Cutler's got Alshon Jeffrey, but he drops it. Wow. Now it's 4th and 21. They're compelled to go for it. Cutler fires to Marshall. It's incomplete. The Broncos take over. They score a touchdown. Then they score 2 more. This one turned into a runaway. The Broncos win it 48-14. And maybe if Jeffrey makes that catch, we get an entirely different endgame. The butterfly effect being what it is, things quickly fell apart, and this final score isn't completely indicative of how things went down. The MVP of this game seems self-evident, and while Peyton Manning put up his usually excellent numbers, it is Denver's defense that won it early, personified by Chris Harris. He made 7 tackles, defended 3 passes, forced 2 massive fumbles, and even recovered one of them. Some would say it should have gone to Peyton, and he got his share of votes, but Harris was the most valuable today. The Broncos were the first proper victim of the Ravens' crazy run to the real Super Bowl title in 2012. Had they not allowed that ridiculous touchdown to force overtime, then maybe they could have done what they did here. That can never be known, but what we do know is that the Broncos are crowned Super Bowl champions here, putting this trophy next to the one they won back in 1996.
Take your pick. Do you want the best offense or the best defense? If the 2013 season didn't answer this question for you, I don't think anything could ever change your mind. 2013 belonged to the Legion of Boom and the Seattle Seahawks. They faced off with the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl, a Broncos team that set all sorts of records for offense that still stand. And the Seahawks won this game 43-8. It's not the biggest margin of victory in Super Bowl history, but in many ways it feels like the most thorough beatdown. Offense sells tickets, defense wins championships. It's a cliche because it's true.
Let's get right into these 2013 NFL standings. In the AFC East, it was slightly more competitive, but the New England Patriots are still the only show in town. They win it at 12-4. In the North, Cincinnati repeat their 11-5 record and repeat their status as North champions, while the Pittsburgh Steelers sneak out a wildcard spot at 9-7. The Indianapolis Colts are able to win a down AFC South at 10-6, while arguably the two best teams in the conference reside in the West. It's won by the Denver Broncos, who go 13-3, only scoring 580 points this season after putting up 606 in real life, while the Kansas City Chiefs equal the 2006 Saints, going from 1-15 the season before to 12-4. However, unlike the Saints, they have to settle for the wild card. And after 9 straight playoff appearances, the San Diego Chargers are going to finally miss out. Over now in the NFC, the East goes to Dallas with a pretty light record of 10-6, and in the North we have the same thing with the Detroit Lions getting it at 10-6. The Cowboys have the head-to-head over Detroit, so they get the 3 seed, Detroit gets the 4. It's in the next 2 divisions where the power lies. The Carolina Panthers see the birth of Riverboat Ron, going 13-3, winning the South, while the New Orleans Saints settle for the wild card at 10-6. Now in the NFC West, what a change from just 3 seasons earlier, where 6-10 won the division in an unprecedented manner. We've seen it before where every team in a division avoids a losing record, and it's happened in real life where every team has had a winning record. But this is a new high bar, with every team in the division putting up double-digit wins against 3 seasons ago where every team had double-digit losses. That is unreal. It's won by the Seahawks at 14-2. They're the number 1 seed, while the 49ers are the number 5 seed at 12-4. The Rams and Cardinals are both going to miss out at 10-6. The Rams went 4-2, while the Cardinals went 1-5 within the division, eliminating Arizona. Then the Saints had head-to-head over the Rams. Let's get these playoff games underway now. The Kansas City Chiefs go on the road to beat the Colts, which is not how their real-life playoff game went, while Pittsburgh also goes on the road to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. These 2 wildcard teams had a little trouble in the divisional round, where Denver beat Pittsburgh and New England scrapes by Kansas City. So for the AFC Championship game, we've got the Patriots at the Broncos. Same bat channel, same bat time from the season before, and the same bat result. Denver wins it 28-21, and in back-to-back seasons, they're back in the Super Bowl. The 49ers have endured 3 straight seasons of one-and-dones in the playoffs. They finally get a victory this season over Detroit, while the Cowboys beat the Saints. Now we're getting the 49ers-Seahawks matchup in the divisional round instead of the NFC Championship game, and this game was not nearly as close as its real-life counterpart. The Seahawks win it 33-17, while Carolina rampages over Dallas. The Seahawks will host the Panthers in the NFC Championship game, a game they lost last season, but they get it done here, 28-10. So they're now off to the Super Bowl, and for the 6th time, our Resim Super Bowl is the same as the real-life one, and the Resim has seen the real-life champion win each time. That's good news for Seattle, as Denver now goes for back-to-back. We've got another first and to date only Super Bowl host. This is MetLife Stadium in northern New Jersey, the suburbs of New York City, the first proper cold weather Super Bowl site that's played outdoors. As it turns out, the game was 49 degrees at kickoff. 2 different Super Bowls in Tulane Stadium from the 1970s wound up being cooler. All that said, we're ready for this matchup. We're going to have the AFC and defending NFL champion Denver Broncos taking on the NFC champion Seattle Seahawks. Denver's going to be looking to get off to a better start than they did in the real Super Bowl. They're already in Seahawks territory. Peyton Manning fires us deep to Demaryius Thomas, who will score on a 45-yard touchdown. Denver certainly never held the lead in that real Super Bowl. They do now. It's 7-0. The Seahawks will be playing from behind here. They've got it at their own 39-yard line. Russell Wilson stays in the pocket, goes downfield. Golden Tate makes the catch. The Broncos track him down at the 24-yard line. From here, they want to start feeding Marshawn Lynch. He picks up 6 yards on first down. On second down, he goes right through the middle, steamrolls a tackler, and gets in for the touchdown. You figured the Seahawks would respond, and they have. Beast mode's in the end zone, tying this game up at 7 apiece. Now it's Denver's turn. They've got it at the Seattle 33-yard line. Manning hangs in the pocket to the last second, gets it out to Wes Welker. He's able to get this into the red zone. They now are set up at the 17. Manning goes to Welker again. He's hit by Bobby Wagner, losing the football inside the 10-yard line. What a big play there by the Seahawks, stopping a highly likely scoring opportunity there for Denver. Now looking to get it going themselves. The pitch to Marshawn Lynch is going to work for lots of yardage. They go from their own 7 down to near the 40. Marshawn's going to get it again, pushing through tacklers, getting it into Denver territory. The threat of Marshawn has now opened up the passing game. From the 11, Wilson goes to Tate for the touchdown. Not only stopping Denver on one side, getting into the end zone themselves on the other. Seattle now leads 14-7. They've gotten the ball back very quickly. It's 3rd and 1. They give to Lynch. He is going to bully his way for a couple yards. Had a lot of runs like that during this game. They eventually get it down to a field goal attempt before the end of the first half. Steven Hauschka puts it through. Seattle leads 17-7. We now enter the second half, and it's Seattle's ball to start. From their own 40, they're going to keep feeding Marshawn. He's going to keep breaking tackles. 3 different guys bounce off of him here as he picks up a nice gain into Denver territory. It's now 3rd and 5 from the 20. Denver's making a change at the line. Seattle will do the same. Denver really needs a stop here. Wilson goes to Tate. He makes the catch and gets away from the defender, getting in for his 2nd touchdown. Seattle now has a pretty dominant 24-7 lead, and Denver's done nothing since losing that fumble inside the 10. They're going to try to change that. Manning goes up to Demaryius Thomas. He makes an incredible catch on an incredible throw. They've now got a 3rd and 10 from just outside the 20. Manning to Thomas has been working. They go to it again. What a throw and what a catch once again. And Denver will serve notice with this touchdown that this game is not quite over. It's 24-14. Seattle's got it late in the 3rd. Facing a 2nd down, they keep it in the air. Wilson goes to Jermaine Kearse, makes a great diving catch in Broncos territory. We now switch over to the 4th quarter. It's 2nd and 5 from the 35. They're going to go back to Marshawn. He's going to get away from tacklers, showing some agility here instead of just brute force power, getting it down to the 11-yard line. Now Wilson will step up in the pocket, find Golden Tate. Touchdown Seattle. Tate only has 4 catches in this game, but 3 of them have taken him into the end zone. It's 31-14, and Denver's up against it now. It's 4th and 6 from their own 40. The Seahawks bring the rush, and Manning goes down. That's going to give Seattle the ball back. Hauschka's going to put up one more field goal. That's going to make this a 34-14 game. Denver scrounges one out before it's over. Our final score here is Seattle winning it 34-21. As mentioned, this is now the 6th different time the Resim Super Bowl has been the exact same as the real-life Super Bowl. And with Seattle's victory here, every single time the real champ has also been the Resim champ. Although this game was a lot closer than their real-life encounter. We did see Golden Tate get into the end zone 3 times in this game, but the most valuable player for the Seahawks was running back Marshawn Lynch. He carried the ball 21 times for 167 yards, just a tick under 8 yards per carry. He added a catch for 4 yards and got him on the scoreboard in the first place with that rushing touchdown. Yes, Tate got in the end zone more, but Lynch did a lot more overall. So now in this resim, the Seahawks pull off an incredible trick, having won a Super Bowl from both the AFC, which they did in the 1986 season, and now here in the NFC. This was even a better team, I would say, on paper. We're going to see how the C-scores shake out than it was in real life. They went 14-2 and got themselves that same Super Bowl championship. The one thing missing was the dominance of that win. But in the end, it is the Super Bowl champion of 2013, Seattle Seahawks.
We're entering a mini era here in 2014 that I will refer to as the Silver Platter era. That is to say, Super Bowls were given away by one team to another on a silver platter. And thus we have the 2014 Seattle Seahawks, failing in their bid to become back-to-back champions and perhaps kicking off their own dynasty on the last play of the game, which by combination of play calling and execution was the single worst ever such combination in NFL history. And thus, the New England Patriots, for the first time in a decade, were Super Bowl champions. And that was that.
There was something the New England Patriots couldn't do in this resim, and that's deflate footballs. And it shows in the standings. In a shocking turn of events, the Pats finished 9-7 and missed the playoffs, while the Buffalo Bills, who went 9-0 in one-score games, including 3 overtime victories, end the year at 13-3 and are AFC East champions. There are 3 winning teams in the North, but Baltimore is the best of the bunch, taking it at 12-4. The Houston Texans are back with a vengeance, going 3-13 last season, flipping it to 13-3 and winning the South, while Indianapolis lands a wild card at 11-5. Denver is all-powerful again. The Broncos are 13-3 in the West, while Kansas City once again win a wild card at 11-5. Now, just like last season, lots of tiebreakers are needed here. Only Baltimore at the number 4 seed is locked in. The Bills did lose to both Houston and Denver this season, so they're locked into the 3 seed. Denver and Houston didn't have any head-to-head, but the Broncos were 11-1, while the Texans were 10-2 in conference. So the Broncos are the 1 and the Texans are the 2. Between the Colts and the Chiefs, they were both 8-4 in conference. The Colts were 3-2 against common opponents. Kansas City were 2-3. Indy gets the 5, KC gets the 6. Things came down to the wire in the NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles lose in Week 17, allowing the Cowboys to take the division title at 12-4. Philly will get a wild card at 11-5. Just one team's going to be coming out of the North, and that's the Green Bay Packers. They win the division, also at 12-4. They tie with the Cowboys for the number 2 seed. Dallas was 9-3 in conference, while Green Bay was 8-4. So the Cowboys get the bye. Green Bay is number 3. They got to play on Wild Card Weekend. It was tough times in the South here. Only Atlanta was above water at 10-6. That will give them the division crown, While the NFC West was not as powerful as last season, but still pretty darn good, the Seahawks take it at 14-2, grabbing the number 1 seed. The Cardinals are in the playoffs as well, and they get to head-to-head over the Eagles, so they're the number 5 seed and Philly's the 6. The Buffalo Bills actually get to play host in the playoffs. They didn't draw a particularly good opponent for them though, as the Kansas City Chiefs take care of them 27-8. Having the Colts going to Baltimore doesn't seem to get old, and it's the Ravens who take advantage of the team that used to be in Baltimore with a 24-17 victory. In the next round, the Kansas City Chiefs get another shot at the Denver Broncos after getting swept by them during the regular season. But they can't win this one either. And Baltimore pulls off somewhat of an upset, going to Houston and beating the Texans. So once again now, 3 straight seasons, the Denver Broncos are hosting the AFC Championship game. They won the last 2, but Baltimore comes into town this time and takes it to overtime, where they win it 20-17 on a Justin Tucker 58-yard field goal. The Ravens are heading to the Super Bowl, mimicking their 2012 run where they were the number 4 seed and pulled off 2 upsets to get to the big game. Let's check things out here in the NFC. The Arizona Cardinals have no trouble going to Atlanta. They win that game, while the Green Bay Packers brush aside the Eagles. Arizona now is like Kansas City. They're getting their 3rd shot at Seattle after getting swept during the regular season. And just like the Chiefs, they could not get it done. Seattle wins the game handily, while Green Bay scores very late against Dallas and goes for 2, but Dallas stopped it, giving them the 24-23 victory. What an exciting finish that was. Now the Cowboys are making a habit out of making the NFC Championship game in the resims, but they're also making a habit out of losing the NFC Championship game. So while the Denver Broncos couldn't get back to the Super Bowl this season, the Seattle Seahawks do. And because they're facing Baltimore, who do not employ Malcolm Butler, perhaps they have a chance at winning this one. Once again, the Ravens are not in Tecmo Super Bowl III, so we have to dress up their team in a different uniform. Using the 3-4 defense as they did in 2014, we're going to put them with their ultimate division rivals, the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're heading back to the University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, where we're getting a battle of the birds. Our AFC champions are the Baltimore Ravens. Our NFC champions are the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle starts this game on the move. They're at the Baltimore 45-yard line. They give it right up the middle to Marshawn Lynch. He didn't need any power on that one. He just goes through untouched. The Ravens eventually catch up to him at the 5-yard line. And why not keep it with Lynch right up the middle for the touchdown? Picking up about where he left off in last year's Super Bowl, Seattle jumps out to a 7-0 lead. Baltimore has a good running game as well, with Justin Forsett leading the backfield. It's 3rd and 6. They're going to go to Forsett, but he runs into the Seahawk defense. He comes up short, and the Seahawks get it back. They're in Baltimore territory on 3rd and 6. This time, Marshawn goes down. Steven Hauschka will come out for the field goal, puts it up and in, and early in the second quarter, Seattle leads 10-0. Baltimore now has a 2nd and 3 in their own territory. They're going to keep it on the ground with Forsett. He's got a lot more green in front of him this time, picking up some nice gains on a nice move there, continuing to not go down. Seattle finally wraps him up at the 15. Good running against this rugged defense. They've now got a 3rd and goal at the 2-yard line. They try Forsett again. Seattle's ready for him. They got to settle for this Justin Tucker field goal. It's up and in. Baltimore has gotten on the scoreboard. It's now 10-3. With time remaining now in the first half, Seattle's at Baltimore's 43. Off the play action, Russell Wilson will throw this to Marshawn Lynch. Makes the catch, gets it down inside the 10-yard line. And from here, Wilson's going to find Doug Baldwin in the end zone for the touchdown. With time ticking away in the first half, Seattle gets on the board one more time. They go into the half leading this game 17-3.
There is still a whole second half remaining, but Baltimore feels like they need to score on this drive. They're going to keep going with Forsett, and he's going to keep providing some pretty good results, cutting in and out and getting this ball down to the 20-yard line. They've penetrated this deep before and only came up with 3 points. They're going to be looking for the end zone now. From the 20 to fake up the middle, the pitch to Forsett. He's got the edge, cuts inside, and he's able to stroll his way into the end zone for that all-important touchdown. Baltimore is feeling the momentum here at 17-9. They're going to go for 2. They slip the handoff to Kyle Juszczyk, and he gets in there. So all of a sudden, now this is a 6-point game at 17-11. From midfield, Seattle has it. Russell Wilson's going to keep it himself, finds the edge, able to cut away from a defender, and he just turns on to speed, and he's going to get in here for the touchdown. Unbelievable play by Russell Wilson, a 50-yard touchdown run, a potentially game-breaking play. It's now 24-11. Baltimore looking to respond. They're at their own 35. They're going to throw. Joe Flacco goes to Torrey Smith, makes the catch. Seattle tries for the tackle. They miss. He drags himself to the 6-yard line, but they can go no further, and Justin Tucker has to come out for his second field goal, restoring a reasonable-looking score here of 24-14. It's too early to think about clock killing here. Seattle wants to get on the move. From their own 20, Wilson hangs in the pocket, fires to Doug Baldwin on the sideline, who makes the catch, turns around and finds a lot of green grass in front of him. Big gain down to the 35-yard line. From here, Wilson will find Jermaine Kearse for the touchdown. That's going to make this a 31-14 game. It's pretty much salted away at this point. We're under a minute left to go. We got to show you this play here. The interception made by Cam Chancellor at his own 11-yard line, breaks a tackle, uses his speed, gets away from other tackle attempts, and he's off and running, and he times this perfectly with the clock expiring. Chancellor with the 89-yard pick six to absolutely seal things. A Seattle victory dominant by the end of 41-17. The Seattle Seahawks have now only just become the 3rd team in our resims to go back-to-back, all of them coming from the NFC. They win 48-49, joining the Cowboys who won 27-28, and the 49ers who won 29-30. In such cases where a total team effort carries the day in a convincing victory, the MVP award is just gonna default to the quarterback, assuming he had at least a decent game. Russell Wilson provided that, and quite a bit more, passing for 266 yards and 2 touchdowns, while adding 58 more yards on the ground, along with that ridiculous game-breaking third-quarter touchdown. The real 2014 Seahawks were a step or two behind their 2013 counterparts, but still should have won their 2nd consecutive Super Bowl. They chose a different path for themselves, though, one that this formation of the Seahawks chose not to follow. 14-2, no miracle needed to win the NFC Championship game, no generationally stupid play calling, and a whole lot of talent extends the Seahawks' reign for one more season.
The NFL, being the marketing machine they are, was certainly not going to let the 2015 season go by without letting us know that it was the 50th Super Bowl. And gold was the color for the season. And for the first time, the Roman numeral branding for the Super Bowl was done away with, and we got the title of Super Bowl 50 written out as a 5 and a 0. The 2 teams who faced off in this year's Super Bowl were the Denver Broncos, who were part of the AFL at the beginning of the Super Bowl era, and the Carolina Panthers, who did not even come into existence until 1995. And for the second time in 3 seasons, a great defense prevailed over a great offense. But this time the shoe was on the other foot. The Denver Broncos and their no-fly zone defense handled the Carolina Panthers 24-10, adding Carolina to the list of teams that went 15-1 during the regular season but failed to win the Super Bowl. Let's take the time now to check out these 2015 standings. The New England Patriots predictably bounce back, and at 12-4, they win the AFC East. Over in the North, the Cincinnati Bengals have one of their greatest seasons ever, going 13-3, winning the division while holding off the Pittsburgh Steelers. They will settle for a wildcard spot, the top wildcard spot, at 12-4. The South wasn't the strongest division this season. The Houston Texans are able to take it at 11-5. While the Kansas City Chiefs seized the division from the Denver Broncos at 13-3, while Denver, this season's real-life champion, settles for 11-5 and has to be the number 6 seed. The number 1 seed will go to Kansas City. They had the head-to-head over Cincinnati. The Bengals will still get a bye week as the 2 seed. The NFC East is no stronger than the AFC South. The Washington Redskins will take it at a paltry 10-6. The North is a 2-horse race. Green Bay at 12-4 outlasts Minnesota at 11-5. The Vikings will still get a wild card. The Carolina Panthers take an extra loss this season than they did in real life, but they're still an excellent 14-2 and are able to claim the number 1 seed. And the West looks like the North, as our 2-time reigning defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks squeezed by the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona has to settle for the top wildcard spot. Seattle will not be the number 1 seed, but they're still getting a bye as the number 2. We've got ourselves a star-studded lineup in the AFC wildcard round. The Denver Broncos are playing the New England Patriots, which was this season's real-life AFC Championship game. The Patriots flip it around this time though, holding Denver to 3 points and eliminating them. Houston, for the 3rd time in 5 seasons, win an overtime playoff game, defeating the Steelers 16-10. Now, the Bengals and the Chiefs are not used to being in these positions with bye weeks and hosting in the divisional round. Well, it didn't hurt them at all. Cincinnati won their game by 14, while Kansas City won theirs by 15. So we are getting the AFC's 2 best teams in the AFC Championship game. And with their steady and sure style, Kansas City uses Arrowhead Stadium to win this game 27-17, and for the first time in 20 seasons, are in the Super Bowl. The NFC North showdown in the wildcard round turns into an epic shootout as Green Bay outlasts Minnesota 42-35. And Arizona, as a heavy favorite even on the road, shows why, knocking Washington out. Now Arizona-Carolina, the real NFC Championship game, takes place in the divisional round. And just like the resimmed AFC matchup, the loser is the winner here. The Cardinals advance while Seattle gets by Green Bay, setting up a huge NFC West NFC Championship game showdown. Seattle and Arizona during the regular season saw both road teams win their games. Seattle will be hosting this one, and it came down to the end. But the Seahawks win, and they are now going to the Super Bowl for the 3rd straight season, and they are going to try to win the Super Bowl for a 3rd straight season. Only one NFL team has ever won back-to-back Super Bowls, then made it back to try for the three-peat. That was the Kansas City Chiefs, and they now stand in Seattle's way. After that NFC West NFC Championship game, the NFC West is going to host the Super Bowl. Yet another first-time host. We have Levi's Stadium, home of the 49ers, in Santa Clara, California. This is 20 miles away from Stanford Stadium, which hosted the Super Bowl after the 1984 season. History is on the line. The AFC champion, Kansas City Chiefs, and once again, your NFC champion, Seattle Seahawks. Kansas City's looking to get going first, and they're doing it through the air. Alex Smith hits Travis Kelce in the seam, then he's going to find Jeremy Maclin for the diving catch. Smith goes to Maclin again, drops a wide open pass in the end zone. That's going to bring out Cairo Santos for the field goal. They do start off with the lead, but it's only 3-0. Probably, almost definitely should have been 7.
Seattle facing a 3rd and 15. Russell Wilson goes to the newly acquired Jimmy Graham, goes up and makes the catch for the first down. It's 3rd down again, more manageable, 3 yards to go. This is Fred Jackson on the direct snap, deep down the depth chart. A lot of injuries in front of him. He makes the play. And here, Wilson's going to find Doug Baldwin in the end zone. Touchdown, Seattle. Where Kansas City had to settle for the field goal, Seattle's in the end zone. They lead 7-3. We're now late in the second half. This game has gotten quite defensive. Kansas City's trying to get something done. Smith's going to go to Kelsey again, but that's Cam Chancellor making the interception at his own 47-yard line. Great play by Chancellor. He's fighting still. Hasn't gone down. He gets away, gets through 2 would-be tacklers, and what do you know? He's off for the touchdown. He had a pick 6 in last season's Super Bowl that was essentially inconsequential. This one was very consequential. Seattle leads 14-3, and they now have the ball in the 3rd quarter. The Chiefs will back up their defense. Wilson's going to throw anyway. He's going to find Doug Baldwin. Nobody's there. He'll make the catch and wind up with a 32-yard gain. After another first down, they're now at the Kansas City 16-yard line. Wilson goes to Graham again. He bodies the defenders, makes the catch inside the 1. That's going to lead to this draw play to Fred Jackson. The old man's in the end zone in the Super Bowl, giving Seattle a 21-3 lead. They're on the doorstep of history here, and the defense is going to look to close things out. That was Michael Bennett making 1 sack and making the other. That's going to put Kansas City on the back foot. We're now in the 4th quarter. They've got it back, and they're turning up the passing game again. Smith finds Macklin for a nice gain. Now he goes to Albert Wilson, makes the catch at the 24. He's able to get it down to the 8-yard line. A couple of plays later, Smith's going to keep it around left end and score it himself. It's not quite over here. They'll kick the extra point. They trail 21-10, and by trailing by this much, I think they're going to go onside, and they do. Santos puts it down, and the Chiefs recover. Okay, now, Smith's going to wind up running this one again. He's always been pretty athletic, but he shows some toughness on this one, getting it down to the Seahawk 40-yard line. Now it's 3rd and 4. They can kick a field goal. It'll get them down by 8, but Smith's going to make a perfect pass over 2 different outstretched defenders. Macklin makes the catch at the 14. It's now 2nd down after incomplete pass. Out of the shotgun, Smith's going to go once again to Macklin. He makes the catch in the end zone this time for the touchdown. So hold on to the history here for a second. Kansas City scores twice in succession to make this 21-17, and they're going to go onside once again. This time Seattle will take it. Tyler Lockett with the recovery. They're not shy about putting this ball in the air, especially when they've got Jimmy Graham. Wilson goes to him, and Graham makes another incredible catch. A big 29-yard gain. Now with 1:43, they might want to burn some clock. They're going to pitch to Tyler Lockett. The Chiefs did not expect that. Lockett lined up in the backfield and takes it in for the touchdown. My goodness gracious, that's going to make this a 28-17 game. But the Chiefs will not go away. At their own 33-yard line, Smith's got the hot hand now. He fires this to Travis Kelce, makes the catch. What a throw, what a catch. We're now under a minute to go, 56 seconds to be exact. From the 29, they're going to run Charkandrick West, and he gets in and around several defenders and scores. So with 37 seconds left, this is once again a one-possession game. They go for 2 and miss. So it's 28-23. Here comes onside kick number 3. The Chiefs look like they're going to recover, but J.R. Sweezy gets it instead. Seattle holds off a furious fourth quarter comeback attempt by the Chiefs and win this game 28-23. We have just witnessed history being made. Never before has a team won 3 consecutive Super Bowls. 9 different teams have tried, and all of them have failed. Now, on only the 3rd time of asking for us, it has been done. It's the Seattle Seahawks of 2013, 2014, and now 2015. And the MVP of this game is the most unsung Seahawk of them all. Finally, a member of their vaunted defense gets the honor, and it's safety Cam Chancellor. We already saw the pick 6, which calcified this game under Seahawk control. He also added 2 more pass defenses while taking the ball carrier down 8 times. He's the heart, he's the soul, and he puts the boom in Legion of Boom. Seahawks fans will be thrilled with this turn of events, capturing the ever so elusive three-peat. But it must also come to mind now whether or not this could have happened in real life. If Super Bowl 49 wasn't literally thrown away, would they have brought a different fire to this season, where they went 10-6 but were otherwise so much better than that record? These are things we can never know. Thus, it is time to properly celebrate the Seattle Seahawks, champions of Super Bowls 48, 49, and 50. It's now time to take a look at the last decade at a glance, and until those last 3 seasons dominated by that Seahawk logo, every other championship in every other season was won by a different team. But it's only the Chargers in 2006 and the Saints in 2011 that were first-timers, while everyone else had exactly one other before this one. At this point now, 29 out of the 32 NFL franchises have made it to a Super Bowl, with 25 of them having won one. In the real timeline, it was 28 teams who had made it, but only 19 had captured ultimate glory. Moreover, 3 different franchises had won at least 5, with the Steelers having notched number 6. While with us, it's only the 49ers at 5, and they're without one for 20 years. So the championship love is definitely being spread out more in our resims.
The 5th decade of the resimmed Super Bowl era has now come and gone. We are on the precipice of the modern day. Only 10 Super Bowls remain, numbers 51 through 60, as we dive into the 2016 through 2025 seasons for our Part 6. A lot of teams are going to be looking to add to an already great resume, including the Seattle Seahawks, who have already accomplished the unthinkable with their three-peat, as they will be looking for a four-peat. Some other teams still have a chance to put something on their resume for the first time. As we've done with every part, and as we said we would do at the beginning of this video, C-scores for each of these teams are coming right up alongside their C-scores in real life. So take a look for yourself to see who outdid themselves and who left themselves wanting. Thank you so much for getting through this video and for taking some time with us. Until next time, I hope you have an awesome day.